Hello. I want to begin this video by thanking the 5 subscribers that I have. I don't know who you are, but I thank you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to spend some time with me in the Word, which is what we're going to do today. Right now we are in Da Vinci, and I'll give you all a tour of it at some point. But right now what we're going to do is we're going to hop right into it. We are in Ezekiel chapter 28. Now, what Ezekiel chapter 28 is about, and what it starts off as, is a prophecy against the king of Tyre. Now, Tyre is a city that's located in present-day Lebanon. When this was written, Tyre had yet to be conquered by Rome. Now, God's people, led by Moses out of Egypt, had come into this area, this region. And at some point, there was a division between the north and the south. Tyre was the northern portion of this division. But like I said, this is a prophecy against the king of Tyre. So let us begin. Now I'm reading out of the New International Version. It's not my preferred version to read out of. I have recently found great satisfaction in reading from the Interlinear Bible. If you're not familiar with the Interlinear Bible is, it is a work that takes the original source language of Hebrew and Greek and translates it word for word. Literally puts those words underneath the original words, and then on the side has a more digestible yet accurate to the literal translation version. But anyway, this is the New International Version. So, prophecy against the king of Tyre. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, say to the ruler of Tyre, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In the pride of your heart, you say, I am a god. I sit on the throne of a god in the heart of the seas. But you are a man and not a god, though you think you are as wise as a god. Are you wiser than Daniel? Is no secret hidden from you? By your wisdom and understanding you have gained wealth for yourself and amassed gold and silver in your treasuries. By your great skill in trading you have increased your wealth and because of your wealth, your heart has grown proud. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord says. Because you think you are wise as a god, I am going to bring foreigners against you, the most ruthless of nations. They will draw their swords against your beauty and wisdom, and pierce your shining splendor. They will bring you down to the pit, and you will die a violent death. In the heart of the seas. Will you then say, I am a god, in the presence of those who kill you? You will be but a man, not a god, in the hands of those who slay you. You will die the death of the uncircumcised at the hands of foreigners. I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. Some heavy prophecy right there. Now, when this was written, from what I understand, this is before Rome has conquered this area. When Rome conquered this area, they divided up the land and they called this area Palestine, where Tyre is located. Right now it's Lebanon. But the truth of these 10 verses in Ezekiel chapter 28, we can see it all around us today. So a little bit about myself and where I'm at right now. I am currently located in the city of San Marcos, Texas. The city is south of Austin, about 20-30 minutes, and north of San Antonio. It's almost smack dab in the middle between San Antonio and Austin. The Texas State University, established in 1839, is located here. So this is purely a college town. How I ended up here is a very, 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 very long story. But to make a long story short, I do enjoy being here because there is somewhat of a small town atmosphere. I do enjoy it because in the winter and the summer times, it's actually quite empty and for the most part peaceful. With that being said, there's a tremendous amount of darkness that's here. There's a lot of darkness here. I mean, there's a root of darkness here that I think actually stretches back to the 1800s when this university was established. Can't see it now, but I'm here next to the university, and there's a building known as Old Main. It's somewhat of a castle. There's like some Antiquitech towers on it. But this place has a presence of sorcery and witchcraft. There's a great darkness here. It's a hive for dark forces. Why that is, I have speculations, and I think I have a very good reason to believe my speculations are accurate. I'm not going to go into those speculations. But all shall be made known. In due time. My placement here, and it is a placement, I've been placed here. It almost feels like I've been stationed here. Being keen on listening to the Holy Spirit work through me, I know I have a responsibility to this area, to this community, because of the darkness that's here. I firmly believe and am convinced that this city has operated in darkness for well over a century and has been in this loop of exploitation of the youth of all ages. The presence of witchcraft here is obvious. When you have a whole town minutes away from the new home of Hollywood, Austin, Texas, which currently there does seem to be an exodus of Hollywood out of Austin. They seem to be on the run. Time will tell. But it's clear, the symbolism throughout the town and the people, what they wear, what they speak, the businesses, the names of the businesses. Everything points to spiritually dark forces in high places occupying this city. And with that, you get a lot of pride. People who practice witchcraft and sorcery and divination think themselves to be as a god. And you can see it everywhere. What I was saying was, is when you have people who, fresh out of high school, getting out from underneath the grips of their parents, coming to a town, getting to experience that level of freedom for the first time, their minds are easily manipulated. Their hearts are easily captured into darkness. There are lots of people recognizing and acknowledging their obedience and following of the zodiac here. People are very into that. There's a river. Mermaids are a big thing here. There are something like 12 mermaid statues scattered around the city. One thing to note about the city also is that when the Spanish were establishing missions in this area, in this land, when they were here, this area was the one place that a mission did not take. Now, there's a lot to be said about the Catholic Church and the darkness that's in that space. And there's a lot of research and learning I need to do on that front. Some other interesting things to note about this town, this municipality, is the Wonderworld Caves. What does that sound like? Wonderworld Caves. It's also known as the Gates of Hell. You got Purgatory Creek. You've got a lot of distribution centers here too. The proximity to Mexico and San Antonio, which is entirely occupied by Mexican cartel, even all the way up into high government positions. They've taken this space over. The spiritual war we're all fighting all over the earth, all over the world, is manifesting physically here in Texas. And I knew that would happen as far back as 2017. Even before that, actually, 2015 is when I really started catching on to it. I mean, the state of Texas, you don't have to pay state taxes. So I already knew people would start flooding this region when inflation got to an uncontrollable level. I've encountered witches and warlocks here. They've approached me when I first got here. I've been gang stalked by the whole town, including law enforcement. What you don't know about Da Vinci is that I have Romans 6 through 8:17 written on the driver's side. Let me show you. So everywhere I go, I'm as a target, essentially, especially when you put me in areas where spiritually dark forces reign in high places. I've suffered love bombing attacks, flattery for the purpose of gaining trust. But the Lord has blessed me with something that most people would consider a curse, which is the inability to trust my fellow man. The reason I say it's a blessing is because currently all I can do is trust the Word of God. It's all I can do. And I'll get into how my ability to trust other human beings has came about throughout my creation of these YouTube videos. That's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to signal a warning to those who think themselves to be as a god. You know, there's a lot of pride in this city, a lot of it. I mean, that's just natural when you get a whole population of people who have yet to find out who they are, and you empower them with the idea that the world is their oyster and that they can have whatever they want, whatever they desire, whatever their hearts desire, and you mix in all levels of debauchery and wickedness, you get a dark space. You get a very dark space. And I haven't even touched on the population of people that actually live here, I myself included. The permanent population of San Marcos, Texas is an odd bunch. Now, most people would say I'm the odd one out. And yeah, I guess in this space I am. I have these verses, this Romans 6-8-17 on my van, and I think only one person has approached me about it in this city. Outside of this city, 2 people have. Maybe 3. Definitely 2 people outside of my circle, 1 person within my circle. Now, I wrote that selection on my van when I was living in Da Vinci. I lived in this van for almost 2 years, about 1.5 years, to really avoid the COVID hysteria. I was in Colorado, got this van in Colorado, in the Roaring Fork Valley, and when I got it, the COVID hysteria was at an all-time high. And the company that I was working for was lining their ducks up to require vaccinations to work for their company. When I saw this happening, I said I officially retire. I quit and lived off of savings for 6 months, bought this van with savings, and then stayed in it until people saw the insanity that was unfolding, that people were letting unfold. And I was really just waiting for it to calm down. While I was waiting for it to calm down, I was working on various unfruitful ideas, like developing a social media app for skateboarding. What I did was I traveled throughout the Northwest and the Rockies and the West Coast to gain an understanding of the level of demand that the skateboarding community has for such a service. There was no demand. There was no interest in working with me on that front, so it ended up really just being a kind of a tour of the Rockies, the Northwest, and the West, which is a region of the country that I hadn't explored yet. So checking it out. And I should probably do some videos on those travels eventually, but I was attacked on those travels too. One of the most extreme examples was being laced. Which is why I no longer smoke. We're living in deceptive times. People are angry and they don't know who to be angry at. And that's intentional. That's very intentional. You're not supposed to know who is attacking us. Because if you did, well, then those people wouldn't get their way, which is complete destruction, complete annihilation, and the death of everyone, because those people are completely possessed by spiritually dark forces in high places. And this, like I said, is a hive for it's a hive for those people. It's outside of Austin. It's a proxy for Austin, essentially. The layout of this town has a triangle. The amount of gilded thrill that exists here is great. You got a wealth of, let's just call them small businesses. And it's, for the most part, somewhat of it's just a very prideful area. You got a lot of people that think themselves to be gods. People who are willing to do just about anything for $1. I've been exposed to body disposal mechanisms. I've been exposed to torture chambers existing underneath houses, all done by this particular trust. I'm not going to name the trust, but there is a great need for Jehovah's presence here. Because here, everything is a commodity. So please, pray for San Marcos, Texas. Because if God doesn't come and rescue this land, a lot of ugliness will befall it. I'm alone here in this area. So pray for the deliverance of someone to join me in ministering to this town. Because it does get dangerous. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'll see y'all next time, okay?